So at this point, we're going to jump into the market context and just talk about kind of what the market's done, what it can do from here on out, and what our expectations are for the next couple of days here. So what we know from today is that the market attempted a breakdown, found support at the larger time frame HVN 1890, launched from there, took out the 23 high volume node, sliced right through it. So right now what we know is that the buy side is in fairly firm control. We're launching from one key high volume node, we've sliced through the other, buyers in firm control. At this point the expectation would be for a retest of the recent highs here at 38 and at the 42 to 44 resistance. Now over here we may still end up getting a response, not simply because it's larger time frame resistance and a balance area high, which it is, but because the market can be very exhausted by the time it gets there, right? So you can see that we've gone straight line from 86.75 today, for the most part in a straight line, all the way back up, right? There hasn't really been a whole lot of rest or balancing in between. So here in the overnight session, we can still get some profit taking around the 38, 39, around the 42, 44, simply because the market will be exhausted into that area. But after that, if the market starts to balance at the highs here, then it would open the door for another attempt at breaking out. And if there has been some sufficient balancing action that takes place in between, then the breakout can have some legs to it, right? So this is resistance until taken out, but if the market does start to develop another balance in the upper quadrant of this range, and then breaks out from that smaller balance as well as the larger balance, that will provide higher odds of a sustained breakout, at least in the short term. On the other hand, if we do start getting a lack of momentum, if we start seeing that the market gets up to 42, 44, and there's simply not any momentum behind it. Because remember, to break out above here, you need a lot of momentum. You need broad market strength. You need the other markets participating in the move. So as long as you're getting that, then the breakout can take place. If that's not happening, if there's no momentum, the advanced decline isn't supporting it, the other markets are not really participating, then it would be a riskier breakout attempt. But right now, the way this thing is setting up, it is setting up to retest the highs over here and over here. And if it does rest in between and then it puts in another break, then we can test some higher areas. And, we have some defined resistance zones above, which, can get tested up near, 59 to 61. And, we have a few above that too. So those can get tested. And sellers can still be active technically at those areas. So if we look at the daily chart, we can see that we're in a very defined balance. And now what the market has done is it's gone directional from the bottom of that balance all the way to the top. And now it's establishing another balance in the upper quadrant of the big balance. So the markets are fractal, right? So you'll see this happening a lot. Balance areas within balance areas, patterns within patterns. So in this case, big directional move up, balancing in the upper quadrant of the big one. And now if we form another balance in the upper quadrant of this, then when you break out, you're breaking above multiple balance areas, and that can have some legs to it. Now, where could it go if it breaks out that way? Well, we can test kind of the lows over here, right? And then this is going to be the next really major area of resistance is going to be right over here, right? Which is the bottom of the multi-week balance area that we broke down from. So first time back into it, this entire range, there are a lot of resistance areas already defined up here. And the sell side can be active on first test of every zone when you start getting overbought to the upside. So just because the market attempts to break out here doesn't mean that it can't fail here or find sellers here. That can still very much take place. Other than that, we'll continue treating this as just a sideways range until the market takes out the balance. But right now, the idea is that the buyers are in control. there can be some back and forth off these resistance areas, but unless we see a major reversal or a break back below the 23 high volume node, back below this 17 area, unless we start seeing some, more important signs signaling a failure, we're going to give some more edge to the buy side, at least up into 38 and 42 to 44, and then beyond those areas we'll have to look for those signs to see whether there is the possibility or a high probability of a sustained breakout. So that's really the way the market is set up right now. Thanks for all the questions. I hope you guys are all trading well, and we'll catch you all next week.